This is Dr. S. Ramamurthy, Associate Professor from the Department of Computing Technology, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Today, I'm going to discuss about the topic called database user and the database administrator under the database management system. So basically, the agenda of this presentation is what are the roles and responsibilities of the database administrator and or the user who is actually accessing the database and its services. So when you take a look at this diagram, you can understand that various database users starts from the database administrator who is actually interacting and creating managing the databases, and the other user like database designer, navy user, application programs, casual user, system analyst, and the sophisticated user. So we are going to discuss about the each user and the responsibility and the types of services they are extracting from the databases. So the first type of the users are navy user. So these type of user don't have any knowledge about the database management system. They are simply accessing this database application, so mostly using the internet browser through the interface which is provided by the database through any thin clients as well. So they don't have any privileges to modify the database, or instead of that they are simply going to use the database application. Example, like if you take a railway booking user, clerks in a bank management system, everything. So the second type of the database users are application programmers who is actually develop the database management system application. So these are the people who are going to develop client-based database application. They are the back-end programmer. Based on the client request, they will develop the database programs, and they can write the database program in any one of these languages like C++, Java, Python, or PHP. So the third type of the users are the sophisticated user. They have much knowledge on the database management system. They can create their own application based on the requirement, but they don't write code in any programming language. Example like data analyst, business analyst, researchers. They actually don't have the much knowledge about the coding part. Only they wanted to analyze what are the business outcome, how to improve the business process. These are their objective. And the next type of the users are native user. These users who are actually going to modify the existing database application. They don't write any additional code. Instead of that, they are just using some queries to extract the data from the existing database. Example like library management system and inventory control system. The other types of user are the specialized user. So they are also comes under the sophisticated user, but they will write a special database application program based on the requirement. So this is basically the very complex program compared to the sophisticated user. Then the next type of the users are standalone user. These users will have a standalone database for the personal use. So this kind of database have the ready-made database packages, and they are interacting with the database through some graphical user interfaces. Now, the next type of the users are the system analyst who are going to analyze the requirement of the parametric end user. They check whether all the requirements of the end users are satisfied or not. And the final type of the users are casual or the temporary user. From the name itself, you can understand these are the people who are going to occasionally access the database, but every time when they are accessing the database, they require the new information. So for an example, if you take a middle or higher level manager, they are actually rarely access the databases instead of frequent access. Now we are moving to the next topic, the database administrator and the responsibility of the database administrator. So whenever we are discussing about the database management system, who is actually responsible for the database management system is the database administrator, who is actually create and manages the database in all the three levels. So what are the three levels? So if you take any database, it is physical level, conceptual or the logical level, and the view level. So the database administrator is going to manage the database in all the three levels. So the DBA can create or modify, remove the user based data on the requirement. So that this is the main role of any database administrator, to perform the basic operation like creation, modify, and remove the data according to the user requirement. So these database administrators who is actually going to define the roles and the access privileges of any other user under an organization. The actual responsibility of the any DBA. So they have to install the database first of all and upgrade if that is any new version comes in the market, and design and implementation. They have to provide the structure for the database, how the data is going to be stored, what kind of a structure it is going to have, and sometimes there is a requirement for the database tuning, fine tuning the data. Maybe that is a possibility of inconsistent data, and migrating the database when the cloud based databases are frequently going to be migrated from the on location to the another location, depends on the requirement. And what are the user management, backup and recovery operations also performed by the database administrator. And also they are regularly updating the security patches to avoid any threats which is related to the database management system. And finally they have to document all the data for the further analysis and the improvement. So, what are the competencies required for the database management system? They are must be from the IT, that is computer science engineering based background. They should have a sufficient knowledge on structured query language because they wanted to extract the data through the query, and they should have the minimal understanding about the coding and the service management. And then the other database technologies like SQL Server, MySQL, MongoDB, IBM DB2. So these are the required competencies for any database administrator. If you take a look at the career development roadmap for any database administrator, it fall in various levels. So if you take start from the level 2, there it's simply the assist. So assist in the database support activities. Level 3 is the apply, who is actually going to perform some standard database maintenance and administrative tasks. If you take a level 4, it's enable, and level 5 is evaluating and managing the adoption of database administration. Thank you.